The Wayans brothers were a comedic force in the 90s, but it's been years since they've dominated at the box office. Could a resurgence be in the cards? Maybe, but it might not be with the guys you expect. The Wayans brothers cut their teeth in late 80s cult classic films like I'm Gonna Get You Sucka and Earth Girls Are Easy. Then, in 1990, they came together as a group for the sketch show In Living Color, where they proved they had the comedy chops to rival the biggest names of the day. In Living Color became a big hit for Fox, but the relationship between the network and the Wayans didn't last. During an appearance on the Club Shay Shay podcast, Marlon said that the syndication arrangement wasn't working out financially for Keenen, the show's creator. The rest of the family were offered big paydays to get on board with the move. Instead, they put on a united front for their brother.
And it was Kurt in Keenan's pockets, and Keenen was like, nah, you ain't gonna do this to me. And my family said, this money. And we all left In Living Color.
After In Living Color's success, the Wayans brothers went back to their big screen roots. Keenen starred in A Low Down Dirty Shame, while Sean and Marlon teamed up for Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. That success continued into the new millennium, where Marlon spearheaded slapstick cash cows like Scary Movie and White Chicks. But as the years ticked on, the Wayans brand of goofball satire seemed to lose its luster, and audiences began to abandon them. 2006's Little Man flopped, and 2009's Dance Flick was a box office bomb, barely making back its $25 million budget domestically. The world of comedy was changing, and the brothers could tell. In 2016, Damon Wayans came back to TV to lead a more comedy-focused remake of the 80s classic Lethal Weapon, taking over Danny Glover's role of Roger Murtaugh. Though critics weren't always hot on the series, they did like the chemistry between Wayans and his co-lead Clayne Crawford, and the show's debut season did pretty solid numbers. After the show's third year, however, Wayans bailed. Crawford was canned just a few months before. With both stars gone, the show had little choice but to close shop. Wayans later told EUR Web that he chose to leave to focus on his health.
I'm a 58-year-old diabetic, and I'm working 16-hour days.
While he was proud of the show, he wanted to take better care of himself and spend more time with family. He explained, "It's hard for me to play this loving, supportive father, husband, friend on TV and be the guy in life that is telling everyone, I can't, I gotta work. I have 7 grandkids. I've been missing recitals and graduations. To me, it's just not worth it."
That's not my area of expertise. What is my domain is sustaining the life of one Roger Mayfield Murtaugh.
In 2018, a few of the brothers got back together and returned to their roots of stand-up comedy. Keenen and Sean picked up the mic and reunited with their former In Living Color co-stars David Alan Grier and Tommy Davidson for the Off-Color Comedy Tour. Sean had actually been doing stand-up for some time, and he kept it going after the reunion tour. His solo tour took him all over the United States, performing material largely crafted during the COVID-19 lockdowns. Damon has also taken to the road, while Marlon has toured regularly in recent years, and in 2024, released his own comedy special on Amazon Prime titled Good Grief. Bill Cosby's America's Dad legacy was shattered in late 2014, when numerous women came forward to accuse the star of sexual misconduct. Cosby was convicted for aggravated indecent assault in 2018, but when rumors about his alleged predatory behavior came up in 2015, Damon Wayans spoke out in support of him. During an appearance on The Breakfast Club, Wayans stated that he didn't believe Cosby's accusers because he, quote, was in relationships with them, all of them, and that they weren't attractive enough to be the target of sexual assault.
I look at him and go, no, you don't want that. Get out of here.
The backlash was swift, and Wayans' reputation took a hit. He rigorously defended his comments, claiming the media was twisting his words, and urged people to watch the full interview.
I don't know if I
Cosby.
believe every single fifth of the 50 women, but I do believe that there's some.
There may be. And for them, my heart goes out to them.
Despite his regular stand-up tours, Marlon Wayans wasn't ready to give up on acting, even if that meant being relegated to supporting roles. Wayans appeared in Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's Air, which chronicles the corporate clash to sign emerging basketball superstar Michael Jordan to a shoe deal in the mid-1980s. He plays George Raveling, an early coach in Jordan's career who went on to become Nike's director for international basketball. He was instrumental in helping the shoe company ink a deal with the future Chicago Bulls legend, and Wayans' performance helped earn the film a Critics' Choice Awards nomination for Best Acting Ensemble.
What was the line you were looking for? I have a dream.
Not long after that came Bel-Air, a dramatic reimagining of the 90s sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Wayans plays the father of the new Will Smith, who is led to believe that his dad abandoned him. He shows up in the season 1 finale and explains to Will that he's actually been in prison and that he didn't want his son to see him locked up. It's an emotional moment that reminded viewers how capable Marlon is in dramatic roles. Keenen Ivory Wayans' last on-screen performance was in a 2013 episode of TV Land's Happily Divorced, but he hasn't stayed away from Hollywood. Instead, he stepped behind the camera to pursue writing, directing, and producing. In fact, Wayans wrote and directed several of his brother's movies. He co-wrote White Chicks and Little Man, which starred Marlon and Sean, as well as Dance Flick, which was helmed by his nephew, Damon Dante Wayans. He also directed I'm Gonna Get You, Sucka, as well as the first 2 Scary Movies. More recently, Wayans served as a writer for 8 episodes of the Tracy Morgan comedy, The Last OG. The Wayans brothers clearly don't regret walking away from In Living Color, but that doesn't mean the creator doesn't miss it. In fact, Keenen attempted to launch a new version of the sketch show in 2012. He served as writer and on-screen host, but the rest of his brothers were absent. In their place was a new collection of young comic talent that included Lil Rel Howery, Jermaine Fowler, Cooper Barnes, and Callie Hawk. Hopes were high at Fox. A pilot episode was produced, but according to Keenen, the show simply didn't work. When the plug was pulled on the reboot, he told the New York Post, "The bar for In Living Color is so high that if I didn't feel like we could sustain that, then I did not want to move forward." He blamed the failure on changing times and new sensibilities, and he also said that the talent pool required for such a show just wasn't large enough. Fox president of entertainment, Kevin Riley, agreed, saying, "The stars just didn't align. I think the pilot was pretty funny, but it just didn't feel like we had the players." Keenen isn't the only Wayans brother to put thought into a reboot. Damon's son, actor Damon Wayans Jr., revealed to CBS this morning that the brothers have talked about bringing the show back, saying, "I feel like they visited it a couple of times, but it never really actually landed. I think if I were to take the helm, maybe." But recapturing the show's magic could be difficult, especially in the current climate. When David Alan Grier was asked about a reboot while appearing on The Daily Show in 2024, he noted that complaining about TV shows was a lot harder before social media.
The world has changed. You can't be doing that crazy stuff we did. I mean, we barely got away the last time.
Even if the Wayans brothers never matched their early 90s success, their legacy is already secure. In Living Color is still regarded as a landmark show, and an entire generation of aspiring comedians look to the Wayans as idols. In Living Color actually impacted more than just comedy. It may even be responsible for today's extravagant Super Bowl halftime shows. A special episode timed for the middle of the 1992 championship game proved so popular that the NFL was forced to turn the halftime show into a bigger spectacle to avoid losing viewers. This led to Michael Jackson headlining the event the following year. But if you ask Keenen, he's more proud of the opportunity the show gave to women. He said at the Tribeca Film Festival in 2019, "If people were to look at the credits on In Living Color, I would say 80% of our staff were all women and women of color. From the co-executive producer to the line producer, to the first black woman to direct a sketch comedy, Terry McCoy, to Pam Vesey, who was our head writer." Details like that prove the Wayans family has changed the industry for the better through more than just laughs. While Hollywood may have largely turned away from the Wayans that put the name on the map, that doesn't mean studios and networks are done with the family for good. In fact, there's a new Wayans on the block. Damon Wayans Jr.'s first role was in his dad's 1994 superhero parody Blank Man, in which he played the younger version of David Alan Grier's character. Since then, Damon Jr. has appeared in movies and shows of his own, most notably Let's Be Cops and New Girl. He was also the voice of Wasabi in Big Hero 6. Notably, the new generation of Wayans is playing a key part in bringing the old ones back into the fold. Damon Jr. and his dad co-star in the CBS sitcom Papa's House, in which Damon Sr. plays a veteran radio host and Damon Jr. plays his son. Both father and son serve as executive producers on the series, and Damon Sr. is also credited as a co-writer. Speaking about his involvement in the show, he told Entertainment Tonight, "I've been trying to do this for about 10 years now, but Wayans Jr.'s people didn't think I was ready yet. But it's been in the making. We've been talking about it for a while, and it just finally kind of came together."
There's a lot of authentic grains of our real life put into this show.